Marcus Reed had polished 1,000 mantelpieces in his 20-year career, yet none had made his pulse hammer like the marble hearth inside Eliza Whitman's sky-high penthouse. A fresh hire of only 3 weeks, the tall black butler stood frozen, silver cloth dangling in his hand, eyes locked on an oil portrait above the fireplace. The painted girl, amber brown curls, half-smile, dimple on the right cheek, was unmistakable. Eliza, a pale-skinned white woman celebrated on magazine covers as the youngest self-made AI billionaire in the Pacific Northwest, noticed the sudden stillness while pouring coffee at her mahogany desk. "Mr. Reed, is something wrong?" Marcus cleared his throat, but the words cracked anyway. "Ma'am, that girl, she lived at Rainier Home for Children. I was there. I helped raise her." Eliza nearly dropped her mug. "You knew Eleanor?" The name slammed into Marcus. Eleanor Whitman. So that had been the orphan's true surname. "We called her Lena. She was my best friend, like my little sister." His baritone trembled. "She vanished the week she turned 16. Eliza hurried across the office, heels clacking, pale eyes widening. At 34, she still carried the poise of the academy-trained ballerina she once was, but now her movements were sharper, coded in CO urgency. "Eleanor was my twin. The police said she drowned in Lake Wenatchee when we were 6. Our parents held a funeral without a body." She swallowed hard. "Are you certain, Mr. Reed?" "Certain as breath." Marcus pointed to the canvas. "That crescent-shaped birthmark below her left ear? I covered it with bandages whenever she scraped herself." Eliza's knees buckled into a leather armchair. Memories, twin secrets whispered under quilted blankets, the taste of stolen marshmallows, the scent of lake water, rushed back like a cold wave. She had spent decades channeling grief into code and capital, but one sentence from this man reopened every wound. "Your sister never died." 8-year-old Andrew Whitman padded into the office clutching a tattered astronaut bear. The freckled boy had spoken little since his father's plane crashed 9 months earlier. "Mom, why are you crying?" Eliza forced a smile, yet tears streaked mascara onto her cheeks. "Just big people talk, champ. I'll be right out." Andrew glanced at Marcus, and Marcus, long practiced at comforting frightened orphans, softened his gaze. The boy's shoulders unclenched. He nodded and retreated down the corridor. When the door clicked shut, Eliza faced the butler. "Tell me everything." Marcus recounted Rainier Home, drafty dorms smelling of bleach, cafeteria meatloaf that squeaked between teeth, and Lena's graphite sketches. 2 little girls holding hands under mountain pines, guided by a smiling man in a chef's hat. She spoke of a twin who'd find her, a mother who sang Chopin, a dad who cooked Sunday feasts. None of us believed her. Case file said she was an orphan adopted at 4, placed again after a crash killed the second family. Eliza's father had indeed been a chef before opening his first bistro. The dovetailing details shattered her skepticism. "My God," she whispered. "Someone stole my sister, staged a drowning to keep authorities away, then forged adoption records." A knock interrupted them. Grant Caldwell, Eliza's white, square-jawed former fiancé, and now chair of a venture fund courting her next IPO, stepped inside without waiting. "Liz, we need to finalize Thursday's board deck." His glacier blue gaze flicked to Marcus, then to the tear-stained CEO. "Everything okay?" Eliza rose, spine straight, grief quickly armored in corporate steel. "Later, Grant." She ushered him out. Grant allowed the dismissal, but not without noticing Marcus's reassuring hand hovering near Eliza's elbow. Jealousy flared. Over the ensuing week, Eliza hired a private investigator, Ruth Pena, whose resume included uncovering black market adoptions. Each evening, Marcus and Eliza spread faded photos and newly unearthed documents across the Penthouse conference table while Andrew colored beside them. Marcus's calming baritone coaxed the boy to speak about orbiting moons and rocket fuel ratios, subjects Andrew had shared only with his late father. Eliza watched, hope blooming where numbness once reigned. Hope, however, breeds enemies. Grant, whose fund's success relied on Eliza's upcoming stock valuation, sensed her distraction. Worse, he noticed her increasing reliance on the butler, an ex-Marine with a Cornell hospitality degree who spoke French to the kitchen staff. Grant's envy curdled into strategy. He invited himself to a Friday soiree Eliza hosted for investors. Crystal flutes chimed, Seattle's skyline glittered, Marcus coordinated servers in crisp black vests. At dessert, Grant tapped a spoon against the glass. "Quick PSA, everyone. In venture we vet founders thoroughly. The same diligence should apply to household hires." He lifted a folder. "Background checks sometimes reveal lawsuits," and sticky fingers. Laughter froze. Eliza's brow nodded. Marcus, returning with a tray of petit fours, paused mid-step. Grant opened the folder to display a police report claiming that Marcus Reed had stolen a diamond cufflink set from Senator Harper 2 years prior. Charges dismissed on technicality, Grant said, voice silky. But where there's smoke. Marcus's hand tightened around the silver tray until his knuckles blanched. The alleged theft was a lie he'd fought to expunge. Eliza managed only. Grant, this is inappropriate. But prudent. Grant's grin was reptilian. Guests whispered. Phones clicked photos. That night Marcus scrubbed dishes long after staff left. Eliza stood in the doorway, silent. Though she dismissed the guests, she hadn't defended him outright. The gap rang louder than condemnation. I'll resign in the morning, Marcus said softly, not turning. Eliza's reply caught in her throat. Logic warred with fear. What if Grant's document was genuine? Grief-stricken children, stolen sisters, forgeries. Truth felt slippery. Maybe stay till we verify, she mumbled and walked away. Marcus packed before dawn. 3 days later Andrew relapsed, mute, refusing food. Eliza, shattered, realized her silence had cost her son's fragile recovery. She opened the file on Marcus. Spotless military commendations, glowing letters from former employers, no convictions. Grant's report lacked docket numbers. Doubt flipped sides. Eliza dialed Marcus, but the call went to voicemail. Desperate, she reviewed security logs, noting Grant's keycard entries into her study the night before the soiree. She searched her document shredder's basket and found half-shredded stationery matching Grant's fund letterhead, typed with Senator Harper's fabricated accusations. Fury trumped fear. She drove to Grant's waterfront condo, confronted him on the pier. At first he mocked her, but Eliza had come wired. Her phone recorded his smug confession that tanking Marcus's credibility would bring Eliza back to her senses. She emailed the audio to her lawyer and the senator. Returning home, she found Andrew clutching a crayon drawing, a stick figure woman handing a note beneath a door. He whispered, Marcus will understand this. The next morning Eliza tracked Marcus to Tacoma's St. Jude shelter. She arrived in sneakers and a hoodie, no entourage, no board slides. The shelter director, a black woman named Sister Lorraine, eyed her warily. Why should he see the woman who let a lie ruin him? Eliza handed over earbuds, played Grant's confession. Because I intend to destroy the man who framed him and beg the man I wronged to forgive me. Minutes later Marcus emerged, civilian clothes too humble after Penthouse uniforms. His eyes were guarded. Eliza's rehearsed speech evaporated. She dropped to her knees on gritty linoleum. I was a coward. My fear hurt you and my child. I have proof Grant forged everything. Please come home, not as staff, as family. Help me find Eleanor. He lifted her up. Stand, Miss Whitman. Courage is contagious. His voice softened. I'll return for Andrew, and for Lena. But if doubt creeps back, I'm gone. Back in Seattle, Eliza fired Grant's fund, issued a press release about internal ethics, and pressed criminal charges for fraud. Grant's arrest footage led the evening news. Ruth, the investigator, soon called with a lead. A chef named Leonora Carter operating a food truck near Portland, Oregon, matching Eleanor's birth date and sketch talent. Saturday morning, Eliza, Marcus, and Andrew drove 3 hours south. They found the pastel-painted truck, Mountain Morsels, parked near the Willamette River. A chalkboard menu displayed Pike Place salmon tacos. Behind the counter, a Latina woman flipped tortillas with ambidextrous ease. Marcus noticed the half-moon birthmark under her left ear. Eliza froze. 28 years apart, yet the mirror shape of the jaw confirmed blood. Andrew squeezed his mother's hand. Go. Eliza approached. Excuse me, Leonora. The woman turned, green eyes narrowing. Yes. Eliza's voice cracked. I'm Eliza. Lizzie. She lifted her strawberry blonde braid. Your twin. Leonora dropped the spatula. Tortillas burned. Words tumbled. Lake, strangers, new parents, crash, orphanage, running away, never being believed. Tears blurred her eyeliner. Eliza recounted her sleepless decades. Marcus stood back, heart hammering as the sisters embraced. Andrew tugged his jacket. She's really my aunt. Yes, astronaut. And you helped bring her home. Reunion did not erase the past, it redrew it. Leonora, Lena again, closed the truck early, following them to Seattle. Eliza offered the penthouse guest wing, but Lena preferred Marcus's modest Capitol Hill apartment at first. Too much marble reminded her of rooms where children didn't belong. Marcus, secretly in love with Lena's resilience since Rainier, welcomed her. Grant's trial began. Screens and coffee shops looped his sneering confession. Investor confidence in Eliza's firm actually rose. The narrative of an ethical CEO crushing internal corruption played well on Wall Street. Yet trouble persisted. One evening, Andrew's nanny discovered cut wires on the penthouse balcony cameras. Security footage showed a masked intruder leaving a white orchid, Grant's known calling card. He'd been released on bail. Eliza moved family and staff to her estate on Bainbridge Island while detectives hunted the perpetrator. There, old emotional patterns resurfaced. Eliza retreated into strategy sessions. Lena wandered the shoreline sketching. Marcus cooked silent breakfasts. Andrew sensed tension, his voice shrinking. It was Marcus who broke the cycle. At dusk, he gathered everyone around a driftwood campfire. We can't let one man dictate how we live. Tonight, we reclaim joy. He produced marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers. Andrew's first laugh in weeks crackled louder than the flames. Eliza's shoulders loosened. Lena hummed a melody their mother once played. The next day, Andrew begged to visit the Seattle Flight Museum. Eliza agreed, Marcus driving. On their return ferry, police phoned. Grant had been caught planting surveillance bugs at the penthouse. This time the judge revoked bail. Safety restored, life flourished. Lena and Marcus volunteered at Rainier Home's Successor Center, teaching knife skills and sketching. Love unfolded between them like a careful bloom, witnessed first by Andrew, who told Eliza, Uncle Marcus likes Aunt Lena like planets like gravity. Eliza teased them gently until Marcus proposed with a simple titanium ring he'd bought long before but never dared present. Their winter wedding combined cultures, gospel choir harmonies, a Scottish fiddle nodding to Eliza and Lena's ancestry, and a menu of fusion dishes, salmon-colored empanadas, espresso-rubbed brisket on sourdough naan, catered by the sisters' new joint venture, Twin Hearth. Andrew delivered the toast, voice clear. Families aren't lost, they're waiting to be found. After the vows, Eliza hugged Marcus. Thank you for finding my sister and saving my son. Marcus smiled. Thank your own courage. Doubt didn't win. Across the reception hall, Lena twirled beneath fairy lights. Half-moon birthmark visible, no longer a scar but a compass that had led everyone home. The orchestra slid into a waltz. Marcus offered his hand. Lena accepted, eyes glossy yet bright, and together they stepped onto the dance floor. Two souls who once survived stark orphanage halls now spinning amid satin and chandeliers, proof that even fractured beginnings can trace arcs of wonder. High on a balcony, Andrew watched them, astronaut bear under his arm, and whispered to the twinkling city lights, mission accomplished.